Little John Bon Jovi to get this party started. This is Ed of Ed and
Mishka.
Who might you be, Mishka?
I'm Mishka. I'm your wife. And who are you?
I'm Ed. At least that's how I'm known on the fast internet. All right, everybody, this is our first live episode. We are actually broadcasting live. We put it out there in the Twitter universe so people can ask us questions throughout the show. But what we wanted to do is, why don't you tell everybody what we want to do, baby?
What time is it now?
Well, Tommy clearly used to work on the dock.
He did. Turn it off. So, everybody, I'm Mishka, and this is my husband, Ed, like we already said. Oh, that rhymed. Ed is a recovering sex addict, and I am his wife. And we're starting the show because this sex addiction, porn addiction, compulsions around sex, this big sex issue is such a huge problem that is affecting so many families, so many people, so many men, so many women. And people are out there feeling very scared, feeling very lonely. They don't know which way to turn. And we've been through it, and we've come out the other end as survivors, as thrivers, and we want to put ourselves out there and help others. And
she said. Exactly. That is exactly what we want to do. It's really, what we found, and Mishka, correct me if I am wrong, but, we saw a lot of stuff out there for the guy or for the sex addict. We saw a lot of stuff out there for the spouse or the girlfriend.
Not as much,
but
some.
Not as much, but we didn't see really anything for the couple. So once you get past and you make that decision, hey, I'm sticking around, I'm going to see where this goes, and I've done everything I can to make that happen and to keep my family together after a pretty terrible things that I did, and then we're going to talk about those throughout the course of the show. But where does a couple go? And so what we wanted to do is to provide a voice to let other couples know that it is possible with hard work, with incredible commitment and love and passion and commitment, and we're working on the passion thing, and communication,
self-discovery,
all those wonderful things you read about on the.
It can happen.
It can happen. So here we are, and that's really why we're doing this show.
And another thing that's really, really important. Again, there's tons of support for the sex addict out there, but as the spouse, you're really. You're stuck in a place of you feel terrible about yourself. You don't know which way to go. If you were like me and I was a stay-at-home mom, you feel trapped. You don't know who you are or what to do. It's a really, really scary and frightening place to be.
Emotionally, financially.
Everything. And there's just so much wrapped up in it for him and for me. And I really want to be out there to empower women or the spouse, the partners, to empower us to be everything that we can be for ourselves, not for anybody else, but for ourselves. And through that, I think that helps the relationship stick together as well. So really, empowerment is one of my biggest goals. Because you are awesome. We are all awesome inside. And it is up to us to find our inner awesomeness, right? And our inner awesomeness. That's good.
And sometimes that happens after,
I
like it too, after some pretty tumultuous things that happen. And I think at the time, when you look back to when I was
having some trouble, and just consumed by this behavior, and just this anchor around my neck, and seeing the world, the universe, my relationship with you, with bosses through this lens, this dirty lens, dirty shame and fear,
with the projections of the past. And to see that go clear, and to feel worthy, to feel love, and to feel just great. Every morning when I wake up, there's a passion that I have now for life that I've never had, a passion for you, a passion for our awesome kids, a passion for the amazing work that we're doing with Compulsion Solutions and the coaching that we're doing, and just really being a voice has been an amazing experience for me. And from the ashes came this pretty bird.
And we really just want to share it with everybody and help as much as we can. So we are going to
talk amongst ourselves.
have some coffee. I'm from New Jersey, so I can talk like that. Ed, give us a brief background on you.
Background.
Just a brief description, because just so everybody knows, I write a blog. It's called Mishkas Life. I've gotten a lot of great feedback on it. People have come to me and told me that I've saved their sanity. I've helped them navigate through this crazy time. So, and my husband Ed is on there as Ed. So some of you may know me already through that. But for those of you who have never checked out my blog, check it out, because it's I don't know. I was gonna say it's great, but that's because I said it. But here's the description of who Ed is, if you haven't read it.
Yeah, and so I am, just an all-around awesome guy. A great dad. Got a lot of love, and I've done some, and I'm kind of joking, but that's true, and I believe that to be true, and that kind of Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader analogy rings so true for us, and people are going to see that theme throughout our show. And I just got a text. Someone is actually listening to us.
But that's because he's our friend, so he has to.
The world famous Kevin Bain from Compulsion Solutions, the author of the porn zombie article. You can check it out on compulsionsolutions.com. A great article. But anyway, about me. So I've done just some things that I look back on with shock and with horror, and just the depth of the lies. That's the thing that I look like, man, it's like that Henry Rollins song. If anyone knows that, I'm a liar, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs, just broadcasting to the world that he is a liar, and that's what I was. I was a liar. I was a cheat. I did not love myself. I did not show love to Mishka. I mean, man, the first day I met her, I said I was going to marry her, and we've got this wonderful fairy tale storybook.
True story.
Love, and this dark side that haunted me for so many years. I mean, I grew up with technology and pornography, so my addiction, compulsion, affliction, whatever you want to call it, started very, very young. And I remember looking through this little squiggly lines on the cable, when you first got the cable box in your house.
He's dating himself. He's really kind of not young.
Looking for like to just clear up enough so you could see I'm 41, so you could see a breast or a vagina, and you could hear if you saw a bush, forget it. It was like, oh my God!
I was almost tired when you said that.
Listen, and then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And we're going to talk about all that and how it started, where it came from. I've overcome a whole bunch of real serious trauma-related issues as a child, and those things I let continue to haunt me. And despite always having a choice, I did not realize, I did not embrace that concept. I did not feel like I had a choice. I was compelled to act out sexually with prostitutes. It's hard to say.
It's hard to say out loud.
It's hard to say out loud. And pornography, and it damn near ruined my life. In fact, it's fair to say, right, Mishka, that it almost killed me.
Yep.
And it was Mishka who saved my life. And we'll talk about all the gory details as this show progresses, but saved my life. Really picking me up out of the gutter, and connected me with George Collins at Compulsion Solutions, who was my teacher, my sage, my just awesome best friend, and that in turn connected me with this community of people who were struggling, who were suffering, and the kids and the underage exposures, and learning so much about this estimated to be between 9 million to 14 million Americans who are self-identifying with having some form of sexual compulsion, and that was me. And it's awesome to be free. You can be too, and I look forward to sharing my journey and our journey as we go forward.
And even, can I say something? Even if
if
your life hasn't been touched by sex addiction, which many people's has, even if you're just struggling through a tough time, or your husband or wife had an affair, or you're not communicating, whatever it is, the things we have learned about communicating, about self-love, about working together, about projecting, and all that stuff is really good for everybody. We're at the stage now where a lot of friends are getting divorced, and we're like, oh my God, why are we together? And the other people aren't, and that's just because of the work that we're doing, and that's really, really cool.
I interrupt, and no, but the
hold on.
The bitter irony. Yeah, we're just gonna have lots of fun with sound effects.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Stop. Okay.
And is that it was these skills and these tools that saved our marriage that we learned. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. That we learned as a result of going through what we went through, and what I survived from, and the choices that I made to heal myself, and what Mishka survived from, and what we survived, these skills. So I've got a great friend, a blessed brother of mine, Kevin, who really said something to me, and George said it too, but he just said it at the right time in the right place, where your addict, this part of you, this compulsive piece, is my teacher. It's a blessing now. I want to hug it. I want to kiss it, and listen to it when I'm having a struggle, or when I'm having making decisions, and just the depth of awareness that is provided for me, or that has helped lead me to this day, is just freaking amazing. And I want to scream it. I want to tell people about it, and I want them to know, and I want you to know, who's out there listening, that you're great, and keep doing the work that you need to do and heal, and you'll do great things too. So
let me tell a little bit about myself.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Hey, I was wondering if you could tell everyone out there a little bit about yourself. See, it says in the notes.
It does. No, I wrote it, so really I was asking myself.
I'm asking you. Who is Mishka?
Which really is kind of indicative to my story. In the past, you would have asked me that question. This now, I'm saying I wrote it down. I'm asking myself that question. Isn't that? Yay! So, okay, enough. So my story is I met Ed very, very young. I was 18. We started dating. He was very, very intense, very, very into me. It was exciting, a little overwhelming, very passionate, wonderful. And we were good. We were good for a while. I got engaged young. We got married. I was 23. He had his first bout of this addiction stuff. And at the time he came to me, he said he needed help. And I said, okay, I said I do. He's coming to me, and I love this man. He's a good man. I'm going to help him. So I did. And at the time, I think I was very young, very naive. I didn't really get the whole reality of life thing. I didn't get the gravity of the whole sex addiction situation. I didn't get it. And at that time, the recovery was based on him, on the addict.
Plus, it was mixed up with the adoption stuff too. So there's a whole blend of.
Please, we'll talk about all that past and trauma and messed upness and blah, 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 blah. So anyway, it was all about him, and I was there to help him get better. It was a very lonely time. It wasn't great. But then, he got better for the time being. We had kids. We bought houses. We were very distracted. And then when the kids got a little bit older, we have two fantastic kids, things started settling down a little bit, and his issues started coming to the surface again. And we moved out to California, and that's when he spiraled totally out of control. It was horrific. We could get into more of that later. The thing that was different this time is it was so bad. I mean, I wasn't necessarily going to stay with him, but I was going to support him for my children and for myself. I didn't make any money. I'm a stay-at-home mom. And I wasn't going to go down like that, where he wasn't paying me any money and he wasn't supporting the kids. And so I decided to help him get better. Plus, he is my best friend. So no matter what happened in our relationship between us, I knew I had to save my best friend. And through that, I realized, and this is what's important for all the partners out there, all the spouses, I realized I am just as important as him. What he's suffered through and his recovery, mine is just as important. And that's what I lost the first time. And that's why it didn't work the first time.
Well, you know,
we weren't together as a team. It was you.
You want to talk about safety and PTSD, because one of the things that has been, like, I know I am more and more recovered, or my wounds are more and more healed when I have empathy, when I can understand. Thank you. Empathy. Let me just say that word again, ladies and gentlemen. Empathy. And so to be able to empathize with the person that you pledge your love to in front of all your friends and family, who fathered children with, yet lied to, cheated on, did terrible, terrible things, to feel that pain is to look in the mirror. And that's an incredibly hard thing to do. And that's kind of what this journey's been all about, is being able to look in the mirror and see a great person who's done some terrible things and taken ownership of those things and embracing the fact that you've always had a choice. And, it was my childhood trauma issues, which is true. Those things did exist, and they were very painful. And what I've learned in all this, and I'll kind of turn it over to you, but what Michelle went through when world...
He likes to talk a lot.
...was turned upside down was suffered. You suffered.
Suffered.
And the kind of modern or evolving treatment modality for spouses is around this PTSD, instead of treating them as a co-addict and seeing the physical
or a codependent.
A codependent, excuse me.
I hate that term.
As a codependent. And so that empathy was able, so that just, we talked about safety, but you
right, and we'll talk about PTSD and trauma and safety. We're going to talk about that in another episode, because we're only at this point doing half-hour episodes. Eventually we want to do hour episodes and have guests and have different topics, and it's going to be really, really fun. But yeah, empathy and me looking at him and saying, I suffered trauma too. You took away my safety. You didn't have safety as a kid, or whatever it is. Well, I don't have safety now. It is really, really traumatic. And I just want to get that out there to all the partners, and whether you're a guy or a girl or whatever, it is traumatic for you too. You have a lot of recovery. And if your partner cannot empathize with you, then it's a much, much harder road. So that's what made the difference for us this time. Now, it was a slow process. At first, when they're coming out of their addiction, they can't see past their own left foot. And it's frustrating. What's the song?
No, well, what I was thinking is
Living on a Prayer again?
Let's take a short commercial break, throw a little bit of Bon Jovi, and we'll be right back to talk a little bit more about...
we want to talk about our thoughts on the label of sex addiction.
Yeah, the controversy around it. So listen, check this out, and we'll talk to you guys and be right back.
He loves his radio voice.
Oh, now we're back.
Now we're back. He loves his radio voice. Do it.
Hey, everybody, this is Craig Perry coming at you.
This is a kind of an important topic about us being Mishka and Ed. And obviously, those are not our real names. Ed could be. He is named after Edward Cullen from Twilight. And I'm sorry if you don't like me anymore. I apologize, but...
well, there's a good part.
We're going to have an episode. We're going to have an episode just on that.
All right, we'll talk about the names.
We're going to have an episode just on why Edward is so great. But, so he's Ed and Mishka. Those of you who know me understand me as Mishka. But there's so much shame and blame and embarrassment and humiliation, and there's just so much of it out there that it's hard to find someone to talk to that's going to at least not judge you for either leaving, not judge you for staying, not judge you for being an idiot, or not judging your husband, or lots of judging.
And just throwing this out there, it's scary, right? I mean, It's scary. We're choosing a life and a path that we hope will lead to success. It's certainly been emotionally and spiritually successful, but I got to feed my kids. I got to take care of my family. I want to go to Disneyland. I want to rock on, baby. And so doing that in this space is
and the new Disney character in Brave. We haven't seen it yet, but apparently she kicks ass. So she would be a really good heroine for being brave, I guess.
But because the reason I just mentioned that is that fear is there, but the truth is we're scared. We're scared to have me judged professionally for what I've done.
Because then that affects my safety, and it's very scary.
And financial safety, and so I get it, and that's why when I look at folks like Kevin Bean at Compulsion Solutions, George, James, the whole crew there, how brave they are to be able to put out there and wear on their sleeve
what they've done,
what they've been through, and where they've come. And the interesting thing for me is that the more people we share this with, we don't end up. Some people have judged us, no question about it. Judged me, judge Michelle for staying with me.
Yeah, I've had that, definitely.
But we've been, it's been incredibly supportive. And what we've also found out, and this is kind of motivating us, and when we kind of mention, well, we're working on this with that person, or working on this project in the sex addiction, porn addiction, compulsion space, we've found somebody, either that person has had their lives impacted by compulsive sex or porn, or they know somebody.
Yeah.
And so it's been incredibly empowering, and we hope that, really the show, we're going to set up Skypes to be able to call in, we'll be able to talk to you on the air, but really have a community where couples can talk to other couples, and that's really exciting to me. I'm so excited.
And hopefully it won't sound like this.
So, so I'd like to hear some questions from our audience. Audience, please, let's hear what you have to say. All right, so let's talk about the...
What is this, the Ed show?
It is the Ed and Mishka show, or Mishka and Ed show? The title of this episode is Ed and Mishka.
That's because you wrote it.
Let's talk about the label of sex addiction, just briefly. You don't have to spend too much time on it, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And where we're at is, and the people that we want to help, is, does your sex suck? Does it hurt? Are you making people around you unhappy? Are you yourself unhappy? Do you feel shame? Do you not want to feel shame? It's not judging anybody who does anything different, who's out of the ordinary, who's walks off the beaten path. Bless you. That's awesome. What we want to do is, I don't get that.
She said, "Is sex a problem?"
Oh, yeah.
Saying, boo.
Boo, yeah. So if it's a problem for you, and
we got defensive. A little defensive. Which is,
Well, I didn't think you were booing me. But anyway, so why don't you talk a little bit?
Okay, so our thoughts on addiction. You're a douche. The thing with addiction is the term addiction definitely gives people a place to start. Gives them a reason and an answer why they've been behaving the way they're behaving.
There's a name to this fucked up behavior.
Right, but see, I have a bunch of names. I have a bunch of names that you can put in place of addiction, okay? You can put addiction, you can put affliction, compulsion, douchebagness, assholeness, narcissistic pig. All those really, really fit.
I'm not exactly sure how to respond, except douchebagness is a word.
I just read an article by Linda Hatch, who's a really wonderful sex addiction therapist, and she wrote an article about how the sex addict is oftentimes a narcissist. So I thought that was narcissistic pig was kind of fitting sometimes. So whatever you want to call it, in the end, it really is all the same. By recognizing that you have a problem, it doesn't matter what you call it.
Well, a couple of those
and
terms,
it helps you to begin healing.
A couple of those terms are far more easier to swallow for the person acting out. So, for example, if I am in the initial stages of recovery.
Assholeness.
Yes. Those things are all true. It's like you got to own what you did. Like, oh, man, that was kind of a dick thing to do. No, I have an addiction. No, that's not what it's about. It's
never an excuse. It is never an excuse.
You always have a choice. You don't, you can't sometimes control your thoughts. That's why we're going to talk about this great concept called First Thought Wrong. But, and again, we're putting those names out there, certainly not to make fun or to call anybody's names who's in their early stages. Those are hurtful terms.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No. But it's that kind of dichotomy. It's that dual relationship between, we're not about and don't care. Is it an excuse? There's a lot of articles out there. No.
Well, and I want to say something that as much as
because you always have a choice. Right. And what I want to do is help people understand and embrace that conscious awareness of choice, because it's absolutely beautiful, amazing when you even have a glimmer of it, when you can say you left or right, just like you do when you decide to get out of bed, when you decide to go to the bathroom at a particular time, when you decide to brush your teeth at night, when you decide to whatever. You have a choice, and to bring in conscious awareness to this is something that I hope to really spend the rest of my life doing.
I think they'll have to make this an hour show next time.
Well, we're gonna have to spring for the monthly charge.
So the one thing that's really, really important that at least I felt is no matter how shitty his decisions were and how much of a douchebag he was being, which he was, he's also a good man, and he's always been a good man, which is why I have stayed with him so many years. And people say, well, why would you put up with that? Why would you put up with this? Deep down, he's one of the greatest people that I know. And it's, you hang on to that. You want to see that person come back. But in the end, and this is another thing that I learned from Linda Hatch, in the end, that person that you want to come back to, you're kind of creating that want, and that relationship was not working that you had. So people go into these things trying to fix their old relationships. They're trying to fix the problems, trying to fix what happened, bring out that good person. Well, really what it is, you're not fixing the old problems. You're creating a new relationship, because you're learning all over again how to communicate, how to be, how to live, how to love yourself, how to be empowered. And at the end of this recovery, you are two different people, and you're developing a brand new relationship with new expectations, new love, new passion, new connectedness that's just more awesome than, you had before. So, anyway, that was all come out of you're a good man.
Yeah, no, I look back and I had these, this kind of almost, I used to call it almost a split personality. There's a switch that went off, on and off inside my head. I had this incredible ability to compartmentalize, deviant, hurtful behavior around sex, and then be able to sit on the board of directors to a number of very prestigious organizations on a volunteer basis, to hold an executive level job at very successful companies, to be in the newspaper for good things, all this other stuff. But that was ego, and now I'm just here trying to help, and it feels good.
And one last thing, because we are running out of time. We've only got about 50 seconds. Especially, no matter as a wife, a partner, if you are going through this, there's hope. You will survive. I did. So many other women and people have. And we're going to be back next Thursday live. Again.
Next Thursday live. You can check us out on Twitter.
Oh, and check out my blog. It is Mishka, wifeofsexaddict.blogspot.com. And you can find me on Twitter at Mishkas Life. And that's it.
Yeah, we can't wait to continue this
play no more drama
journey. We cannot wait to have no more drama. We out. Love you guys.